we go. NASDAQ is coming up. Bottom wick ES is flat so far. Silver is putting on a red candle. I'm so tempted to close my deep in the money silver calls. It's probably not a bad idea, or at least, do some sort of hedging or lock in profit, maybe close some of the position. There's nothing wrong with taking profits. All right, silver's coming off here, pretty heavy red so far. NASDAQ is bottom wicking. We do have a major market decision coming at the top of the hour. I believe it's 10 o'clock Eastern time. We have the SCOTUS decision to determine the validity of Trump's tariffs. Now, there's a lot of people opining on what to think is going to happen in the event that they do overturn, which, by the way, right now, Polymarket's saying, 73% chance they do overturn the decision. So if they do, there's a lot of discussion on what's going to happen to the markets. Obviously, logic would say we're going to freaking tank, because if the government has to pay back hundreds of billions of dollars plus interest plus other aspects, the market probably wouldn't respond to that quite well. However, you never know. Yesterday, China came out and said we're once again not buying your chips, and Nvidia squeezed. So usually that, who knows? Who knows? And of course, if they don't overturn the decision, you would assume that we're going to rocket. But again, who knows? Who knows? NASDAQ's coming off here. Hard sell from 770 all the way down to 676. Don't do the hand motion. Silver is putting on a red candle here. There's been some beautiful 3Cs on NASDAQ and silver for that matter overnight. So I just be patient. Just be patient. It's been a crazy couple of days, dude. Absolutely crazy couple of days. Polymarket almost right. Yeah. UBS going under would trigger another 2008. They're rooted in everything, and the fear alone would cause a run. Yeah. So they shorted like a couple of $1 billion worth of silver. Apparently, that's what the rumor is, and obviously they got caught with their pants down. So 91.7 coming down. Silver's got a pivot at 90.55. I have to really drill into your brain the concept of the right side of the V. Do not try to play a bounce or a rejection on silver until you have the right side of the V. I promise you. I've now blown up 3 TPT Pro accounts because I'm just a few minutes too early on a silver 3C play. I'm being too aggressive. Top step, obviously, I'm doing great on, but my buffer is not as big on TPT. So, one, I don't recommend playing silver on TPT unless you have a very large buffer. Number 2, you have to wait for the right side of the V on silver. It's very rewarding if you can wait. So, just take it from me. NASDAQ, a little bit of a bottom wick coming up here, 25,713. There we go. Big green on NASDAQ. Silver is starting to put on a bounce here too. The 150K account I won through the giveaway is now a funded account. It did take one reset. Nice, David. Well done, buddy. I love to hear it. What's the guy from Israel betting on? That's a good question. I don't know. Even though Iran last night posted an ominous picture of a nuclear weapon and said that Israel will cease to exist tonight, and of course nothing happened. That's what they do. Silver starting to bottom wick. NASDAQ, huge green candle. Look at that. All the way back up. Didn't catch that play. Didn't catch that bounce, unfortunately. VIX is 17. Yeah, so VIX is rocketed. And even because, obviously we have this indication where the volatility is starting to pump back in. But remember what's happening here in about 25 minutes is that we're probably going to have a very different looking market here in about 15 minutes, one way or another. Either we're going to see the biggest green candle we've seen in months or the biggest red candle we're going to see in months. Not to mention we have other FOMC speeches as well. Not to mention PPI. We had PPI this morning that apparently popped hot. So, yeah. Which is weird because CPI came in cool. Or came in line, but cool relative to the forecast. So, yeah. PPI. It popped hot by 2.2%. At the top of the hour, we have retail inventories, business inventories, and home sales, 3-star events, as well as the Trump decision. Strangle. Strangle probably right now would not be the best idea. That probably should have been something taken yesterday. But I think Strangle probably will pay. How beautiful is that 3C bounce at 11.25? Is extraordinary. Is extraordinary. What happens today? The SCOTUS gives the opinion on Trump's tariffs and whether or not they're going to overturn it or not. So, yeah. $90.45. We have volume on this candle here on silver. We need to see what they're going to do with it, of course. And we'll see if we get a 3C. If they do, then you might have a playable play, of course. But, you know, you have to expect at least some profit taking. I know that's a wild idea on silver. And it's just obscene. But, yeah. We're going to see. There's a volume candle on that 935. We're going to see if we could play it. 95, 91. NASDAQ's coming off. There's a little bit of green on silver. Nice. Nice. How on earth would they untangle that mess? I have no idea. Even Trump came out and said if they did overturn it, it would be an absolute disaster. Like, how would you even do that? But, I mean, it's historic. We don't know. I mean, how many times in the past 5 years are we going to live through history? Like, how many, like, it's, look at this. Look at this. Look at that volume. Look at that. That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary. I mean, how many times are we going to live through history? Man, the 3Cs. The absolute freaking 3Cs. NASDAQ dumped all the way back over. Haven't touched NASDAQ yet. Are there any new promos on Top Step? I don't think Top Step offers promos. They're pretty much the same as they always are. I think the latest change was the introduction of the free funded account, but it's a more expensive eval, and you get no activation fee funders. So, how do you gauge that with volume? It's the open, so it's all high. The opening candle is the only one I disregard. Everything else after that is I analyze it as always. Other generations have one or two things to discuss when they're old. We're going to be like a trivia pursuit. Tell me about it. It's going to be left and right. We're going to have trivia. This is coming down? Maybe. Maybe. IV is, of course, juiced. At the money, SPY positions are sitting at 25% IV, which is juiced. We have the VIX, of course, is up 7.76% at 1721, the highest VIX we've had now in weeks. Beautiful stuff. Premiums are a little elevated. SPX is right now once again trying to defend 6,900. Now, 6,900 from an option chain perspective is your risk off level. If they close under 6,900 once again on SPX, then once again we will have to look for a risk off environment. That is the option support on the market. Opening candle as far as the 5-minute chart. It depends, whatever time frame you want to look at. The opening thrust of volume is the one that I disregard. You know, that's personally me. I don't even analyze it because it's always high. It's always the opening volume, so you can't analyze it if it's always the same level of strength. All right, silver's still getting wrecked here. NASDAQ still top wicking. Please, 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 if you're going to even touch silver, you have to use small position size. Do not try to put on massive position sizing, hoping for glory and riches. You will get wrecked. Half a candle for 10 minis is an extraordinary amount of money. Take it from me. I did it yesterday, and I will not do it again. NASDAQ is 25,700, down to 25,670. I was watching this last night. I was sitting on the couch with the missus, and I was just watching the price action on silver on my phone, and I'm watching it just gap up, gap up, gap up, and I'm like, what the crap is even going on? Like, it's just, it's entertainment at that point. I mean, look at this. This was last night's price action on silver. Just watching it just gap. And I'm like, what is even going on? It went from, 85, 84 to freaking 92 without a pullback. I mean, it's just obscene. It's obscene. We live in wild times, people. And they've restricted the supply of silver. The U.S. Mint said we're no longer selling silver. And then, of course, the UBS news, if that's true. I mean, how many institutions out there do you think are short silver right now? Or at least were short silver. Not anymore, of course. They're going to get liquidated. Bottom wick on NASDAQ. SLV options expiration is today, too. There you go. I qualified for my first ever payout on a prop this morning. I love it, Brewski. I love it. Keep up the great work. Wages outpaced inflation last year? Yeah, that's a bunch of nonsense. Gold 3C. I've been forgetting about gold, man, but gold's put on some fantastic moves. There's a bottom wick on gold. We have a little bit of volume on that candle on silver on the 1 minute again. If I see anything extraordinary on 1 minute, sorry, that's NASDAQ. I'm going to switch over to the 5 and confirm, of course. But right now, it's just we had one decent volume spike there on silver, and not much else so far. I've come a long way thanks to you. It makes me borderline emotional. I can taste freedom. I love it, Rolling Brewski. Hey, that's a fantastic compliment. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Hey, how do your biceps feel today, by the way? It's good to be emotional, man. It's good to be emotional about this stuff, because if you can put together a process to generate even a little bit extra income, I mean, it's an emotional thing. As a man, especially, it's an emotional thing. To create money out of nothing. Ho, ho, NASDAQ, ho! Hey, oh, how's your mother? NASDAQ is just juicing, baby. They know we've got the call. Holy smokes, look at the puts, look at the call selling. It's just going down. We in the club. Do you have your levels plotted? What's the last level? What's the level? What's the level? 632. Swipe 3632. We have a whole bunch of support. We might have a 3C long op there. We might have a 3C long op there. We in the club. It's going down. What do you think the reaction will be if the Supreme Court overrules the tariff? And you know, I don't know. I don't know. I personally, I mean, there's going to be volatility. That's all I know. There's going to be an extreme volatile reaction. I just don't know what it's going to be. My gut says down, but who knows in this clown market? Everything is just skyrocketing. So I am not going to chase this bottom wick here. I am waiting for 632. I'm going to be patient. Even if I miss it, I don't care. That's fine. I'm waiting for 632 here. And I'm going to see if I get a 3C volume bottom wick on the 5 minute. And then I'm going to jump into a position if we get a swipe into the 632. Initial reaction, and my goal is to be in and out of the position before the top of the hour. I don't want to be anywhere near an entry carrying through this decision. I saw someone hyping up silver on a few weeks ago on WSB, and I thought they were stupid. Yeah, but everybody would think that. I mean, who was looking at silver prior to the past couple of weeks? Nobody. Silver is something that your grandpappy bought and stuck in his mattress, or gave you. And you know, I got some silver in an inheritance. Nobody thinks about silver as a play to get rich on, and here we are. I mean, people are getting rich, legitimately rich on silver. Another group I'm in, the guy's been calling her for a year. Well, information that would be useful yesterday. No, I'm just kidding. It's a great movie. ES is coming off. NASDAQ is coming off. Here we go, right into support, 25,632. This is the Monday weekly low here. We have weekly low pivots. If you don't have these levels not posted on your chart, then you need to beat your face. You could use a fist, you could use a slap, either way, just beat your face. Here we go. Red candle. Beat your face. So far, nice bottom wicks. Can they hold the bottom wicks, though, is the question. 626. Can they hammer the living piss out of it? There we go. That's what we're looking for. One bottom wick. Still heading lower. Do we have volume spike? We do have volume spike. We do have volume spike. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Sorry. Man, I love trading. Have I said that before? It's almost, it's cathartic. I mean, look at this. Look at that. Instant. 40 points. Instant 30, 40 points. Scalpable. It's scalpable if you just know where to look. Is this too much too fast into the news? Honestly, no. If it's without a news reaction, then yes, I would expect some sort of too much too fast move here. However, we have a very, very volatile move, and that's what the market's doing here. It's pricing in a volatile move. So, all that to say, just don't put yourself into a bias going into this event. Just play the 3 C's. Just play the 3 C's. 25,617. They're holding this weekly low here. I'm just waiting for a higher high, baby. I'm waiting for a higher high. $25,617. There it is, volume. Look at the volume, baby. Look at the volume. Look at the volume. 646. $25,640. 109. We have 117 million calls sold, 476 million puts. Look at that. That's just gravy, baby. That's grandma coming over and cooking me a big old plate of gravy. Gravy train with biscuit wheels right there. Thanks, grandma. Thanks for coming over. Be a little bit profitable. Gravy train with biscuit wheels. I'm going to go take a look at this. Silver. Silver put on a beautiful 3C bounce there too. 25,635. Come on, baby. No, I don't need that. I don't need that. There we go. Follow the White House, not the market. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. That's good financial advice. Big old bottom wick right there. Still going. Extraordinary. Extraordinary. Watch the Supreme Court delay again. Oh, that's what they did last time. That's what they did last time. He's jack to the T. Can I get your thoughts on JPM? Yes. Give me a moment though. Let me get through the first half hour here, and we'll take a look at it. Just remind me again in a couple after the hour. Silver still top wicking. Nasdaq is coming back over. Man, that was a 70-point bounce. God. What time is it? Top of the hour. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Premium is going up. IV is going up. At the money, IV has gone up 1% since the open, so they're still building into volatility here. Bring me a higher high, yeah. Looking for it. Another bottom wick on Nasdaq. I love it. Supportive nature, but the whole thing in here is that theory. This is my system in action live, and this makes me Siri just talk to me. That's weird that electronics just randomly start talking to me. I hate 2026. But it's just the theory. It's like if I could go back to me starting and figure out, hey, all you have to do to start is plot these high-low pivots, and then after that apply a system with volume. That's all you got to do. I mean, that's the low-hanging fruit. You know, to corporate jargon, plotting weekly lows and scalping off of them is low-hanging fruit. Most of the time, that is going to be a profitable scalp. Most of the time. Not all the time, of course, because nothing in trading is guaranteed. But the fact that you could plot a weekly low and just scalp off of it, what else do you need? What else do you need? What's up, Bandit? How you doing, Street Salsa? What chart is this? This is NASDAQ is what we're currently looking at. Unfortunately, why did that keep doing that? There we go. There you go. We have 10 minutes till the decision. Let's take what's silver doing. Silver is still getting wrecked. They've already given back about 3% of their move. 2%. It's crazy watching these moves because you wouldn't think that's a 2.5% move, but these are some monster moves. SCOTUS blog. Announcement of opinions for Wednesday, January 14th. We'll be live blogging as court potentially releases the opinions in one or more argued cases from the current term. If they come out and do say nothing, if they say, hey, no, we're not really going to make a decision yet or anything of the sort, I think we'll have a very green reaction simply because IV will crush. And that will demand, through the process of, delta hedging, that the underlying gets bought. So we will have a move. I would probably say it will be easily attack the day's highs. And they come out and say anything of that sort. So be ready for it. Where's the 3C higher? So far, nothing yet. We had a little bit of a higher move there at 653. Now on the 5-minute, we haven't had a higher close yet. So right now, it's all pretty much quick scalping opportunities. We haven't had a 3C bounce indication yet on the 5-minute. Silver bottom wicking. RTY is freaking flying. Look at that. Dow, platinum, all bottom wicking, not moving yet. CL has crude oil inventories today. That is a prohibited event on TPT, by the way. So be ready for a little bit of movement on CL. So far, there's been a pretty dang big bounce on oil the past couple of days. All I'm looking for is an extremely high volume spike with a higher high in the 5-minute with a wick. Period. Everything else is fluff. Now the top wick. Kamala Harris buys a new $8 million mansion in Malibu. Thank you for your tax dollars. $25,638.25, top wicking. Silver, bouncing. Once it claims the higher high, that'll be your, let's go to the 5-minute for silver. This is your higher high for silver right there. That was my short position, sorry. 91.50 right there is the higher high. Once silver recaptures that, you could have a move. But you already see, if you've been watching the stream for a while, what we have going on right here. Prior support, new resistance. So that's the big line for the silver to cross. Wasn't Kamala in major debt over her last campaign? Yeah, she raised more money than any candidate in history, like $1 billion or something like that. It's crazy. NASDAQ, look at that. New low, set. No higher highs. Book sales, yeah. So many book sales. What's up, David? How you doing, baby? Great day to get back in the OM gang. I love it having you here, David. Love having you here, buddy. Silver's already too close to 100 not to test it. You know what I think? I think silver will come up to 99.99 and then dump. They're gonna get it. They're gonna troll everybody trying to short 100. Another bottom wick on NASDAQ on the weekly low trade. No outlier volume for silver, not yet. 5 minutes, we have data. We have the SCOTUS decision. 98 will be your exit. Nice. We okay to trade NASDAQ. So far, there's no posting about them prohibiting this event. Another topic on NASDAQ. They know, we know, they know, we know, they know. All I'm doing is waiting for volume spikes. I'm being patient. Look, silver cannot break this SR flip. Surprise, surprise. NASDAQ got crushed. That should take a new low. And the reason why they're holding this down here, I think, is because of the news event. But once they take this out, what's the next target? Right here. 570. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. Dump it, baby. Dump it. $6,900 on ES would be a real treat. Yeah, buddy. A real treat. Come on, this is about to go. Top wick. That's 3 top wicks in a row for NASDAQ. They've filled this candle down, so that means demand is absorbed. Now we have to go lower to find inventory. So NASDAQ is sweeping. They're sweeping out 613. Like I said, a lack of a 3C is an entry signal of sorts. A lack of a 3C bounce is a signal to short. And now we're coming down to 25,570 for the next inventory. Now we could bounce a little bit earlier because we do have a couple of checkups here. But the overall liquidity is sitting right at 570. That's the Mac Daddy of liquid. They are buying puts. We have 554 million of puts purchased, 190 million calls sold. What you know? What you know? Silver's always 99.99% pure, so that is a top. That's true. What news we got? We have the SCOTUS decision coming out top of the hour. The SCOTUS is going to make the determination whether or not Trump's tariffs are valid, whether or not we're paying back hundreds of billions of dollars worth of tariff revenue. How are calls and puts? I just gave you that. There you go. We have 4 minutes. 4 minutes. 4 minutos. Another bottom wick on NASDAQ into weekly low. This is why playing the dip, this is why trying to buy the exact bottom is so difficult, because you have to deal with the liquidity sweeps, you have to deal with shenanigans, manipulation. If you wait for right side of the V, you avoid all the manipulation, or at least most of it, not all of it. You're going to avoid the sweeps. You're going to avoid the games they play. Just like if you go find yourself a solid, good-hearted woman, you're going to avoid all the games. Right now, the market's playing hard to get. I don't want to play hard to get. Liquid, that's right. Another bottom weight. $25,620. You ready to see the biggest candle of the week? Someone speculated they had 2 cases on Friday, but the one was quite ready, so today was just cleanup day to release extra opinion. 2 boxes point to a different vibe, more than one opinion. Uh-oh. And maybe a long time. Maybe a long one. Hey, another red candle here. 570, I told you, is absorption level. They've tried to bounce this 3 times now and failed. So what does that tell you from a conceptual standpoint with liquidity? If you can't bounce it, then there's not enough buyers in the market. So what do they have to do? They have to go lower to find the buyers. That's all this crap is. This little red and green crap on our charts, it's just buying and selling. So there's not enough buying to bounce it. So we have to go lower to find liquidity. And until we get a strong buyer's wick, which we do not have yet, with volume, which we do not have yet, and of course, ultimately with a higher high, which also we don't have yet, you remain short biased until you see it. You're going to start to see it through the form of strong buyer's wicks with volume spikes. That's your indication that we've hit demand. And then, maybe then, you can start to put on either preemptive positions, if you're aggressive, or simply wait for the 3C, which you're if a little bit more conservative. Right here. Rolling back over. A couple of quick scalps in are fun, but the big stuff is what I'm waiting on. The big stuff is what I'm waiting on. What's up, Will? Good morning. Nice to see IV above 17 again. Absolutely. NASDAQ is getting crushed once again. We have 734 million puts purchased, 186 million calls sold. So they are selling calls, buying puts aggressively. There we go. There's 10 o'clock. Big red move. No volume on the move. If they come out, like I said, with the decision, you're going to see a visceral reaction. Visceral reaction. Time to start refreshing your browsers. Position sizing, position sizing, position sizing, position sizing, position sizing. Did I say it enough? Crucial. Crucial. You do not want to be short if they rocket this, or long if they dump this with big position sizing. If you're going to gamble into this, of course. Look at the volume. On the 5-minute chart, what do we have here? No volume spike. No volume spike. There we go. Plummeting all the way down, baby. 537. 537. 530. Now what's next? Still going, by the way. Next, we have some micro pivots at 525, but that's it. You know, after that, we're all the way down into monthly lows, which is another 300 points down. It's amazing stuff, bro. We don't have a decision yet. The first opinion is on a criminal case, not on Trump's case. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Silver's getting wrecked. Gold has a wee bit amount of volume on the 5. Let's go to the sync. Let's go to the Uno. The Uno's got volume on gold. Look, you see the 91.15? They couldn't close over it. They rejected the support resistance flip. Sweeping move down. NASDAQ is still holding 555. Amazing stuff, bro. Amazing stuff. That's a massive amount of volume there, sitting at 532. This current case is about whether a defendant who commits a single act that violates 2 separate provisions can be convicted under only one provision or both. We all wait, growing with anticipation. They already ruled. So now they're moving on to the second one. That was a lot of volume. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Massive gold volume. What do we got? Yeah, massive gold volume coming into support. We're not at a level yet, but that is a tremendous amount of volume there. Silver, same thing. Tremendous sweeping move down on silver. Immediate top wick there, too. Look. The massive move kicked off right there on silver. That's the imbalance. That's not the low, but that's the imbalance where the silliness kicked off. The circus music began to play. NASDAQ is about to put on a bounce. I'm being a little bit more cautious today. That was the plan I discussed with the old ball and chain. Given the fact that we have such news, I'm just being a little bit cautious today. Top wick again on NASDAQ. No. Gold just broke 1.8 trend line. I apparently don't know how to trade VIX options. I took a January 16 call with a strike of 16, and today it's worth nothing. Dude, I can't recommend trading VIX calls. I told you the story about what happened to me. I took a VIX call right before market close one day. Literally, like 20 minutes before the market closed. The very next session, the morning I literally woke up, market open next day, VIX gapped up 10%. It was deep in the money. The call was deep in the money, and the call was down 45%. The option was down 45%. Because the VIX, you have to realize, is you're facing such an extreme amount of crush on the VIX, it's almost impossible to play long VIX calls unless you get a very, very huge move. Or if you get a very large move with the massive pop of volatility on the VIX. Because usually what happens is that they spike the VIX, they roll off the VIX. They spike the VIX, they roll off the VIX. So it's getting vol crushed always. Until the time where you pump it to VIX goes 30, 40. So unless you catch one of those moves where VIX goes to 28, 30, 35, you're not going to make any money on VIX calls. Just don't do it. Don't do it. The way to trade the VIX is to buy VIX puts or short the VIX as needed. VIX is constantly chasing spot. If you look at VX, the VIX futures, and VIX, the index, VIX is always chasing spot, which the VIX is always going down, especially in contango. If you're in backwardation, maybe a little different nuance there, but with contango, the VIX is always going down, and it's always chasing spot, which means it's always decaying, always. So just don't do it, in my opinion. All right, we have some put closing, we have some call buying, we have a nice little bounce here. Technically, we're about to hit a 3C on 587. On the 1 minute, of course, we already have a bounce if you want to chase the one. Silver is still getting crushed. We're coming down to fill the imbalance from 90.8. Extreme amount of volume here. Of course, you need to be very delicate with silver. $90.31. There's a very large bounce on silver. Very large bounce. Beautiful. Beautiful. Double bounce off the 90. See the imbalance fill? You see the imbalance fill of 90.8? They gave a little tap-tap-a-roni. High volume spike, 3C. There's your higher high. And it's time to call Grandma over again. Hey, Grandma, I'm hungry again. Can you bring some biscuits with gravy? No? All right, you could ride the gravy train over, baby, because I want some biscuits. Sorry, I'm being obnoxious. I apologize. It's been fun. This is a fun week. So with VIX, you always use theta as to your advantage. If you want to short VIX, yes, 100%. So in my opinion, I don't recommend longing VIX at all. In my opinion, if you're going to play the VIX, wait for the opportunity to short it. Now you're just being silly. I'm jacked. Hey, Roaring Brisky, you never told me how your biceps feel. I wish I could squeeze them. Meatloaf. NASDAQ still getting wrecked. Silver still going. It's one of those things where you want to say, no. Do we have a decision yet? OM's IV is juiced. I am juiced this more. There's people listening for the first time. Like, who is this schmuck? I'm not listening to this again. Next up is a Fourth Amendment case. If and when you make a move, are you looking to trade? Right now, I'm just I'd like to get a trade on NASDAQ. Silver is a difficult one to hold, but you don't need to hold silver very long. You put yourself in a quick high confident entry on silver, you can get paid a lot very quickly and just set a stop. And that's how I've been playing it. Occasionally, I've caught a very large move, and held it for a while, and usually that's to the upside. Very rarely have I caught a very large silver short and held it because it always bounces, and obviously the direction is up. So normally the best thing for silver is just wait for a pullback at the bottom, and then long it and just take your hands off. But that's it. NASDAQ, I'm waiting for a good quality setup. I've taken a couple of NASDAQ trades this week, of which I held for a while. Yesterday was a fantastic NASDAQ short, and there we go. If the SC rules against tariffs, what is expected market response? I have no idea. Major volatility. In 20 minutes, I do have to switch over to Bookmap. Today's Wednesday, so be there, be square. I think volatility either way. Yeah, I do think there's going to be volatility either way. Yeah. Biceps are cooked. Good feeling, though. Oh, nice. Yeah, I apologize. Gold seems to be heading lower. Let's take a look. Gold. Yeah, they have a lot of supportive volume, but so far, no material bounce yet. Silver's putting on an extraordinary bounce so far with volume. I emailed my counties. Oh, uh-oh. We have a third and final decision on the day. No tariffs. What do you mean no tariffs? What does that mean? Like they took away tariffs or no decision on the tariffs? Tell me. Look, silver's rocketing. That's a pretty muted response given silver is absolutely blasting. Look at that. Look at silver, baby. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. They said very little so far about the tariff stuff, so I'm not really sure what to expect. But so far, they're rocketing. Going, baby. There's your bounce. Silver is just freaking going. Absolute money. No ruling today. Is that what they said? Yep. So that means no tariffs, yeah. Interesting. Wow. What a freaking day. They teased us again. They teased us again. Vol crust squeeze. There you go. Immediately. VIX rolls off. Watch. VIX, I didn't even have to look at the VIX. I already know. VIX gets crushed. NASDAQ bounces. The S&P bounces. IV has already gone down 4%. They crushed the volatility, close out protection, and you have a tailwind bounce. That's how these things work. It has nothing to do with the outcome. It has everything to do with the response to the outcome in terms of volatility. That's all you got. That's all you got. Oh, man. Volatility either way, and they go with option C. The thing is, though, they know what a decision would mean. They know what it would mean. So they already know what they're going to do either way. But if they come out and say, we're going to overturn the tariffs, that's it. That's the end of the market. That's it. They already knew it had a decision. Yeah. Anyway, silver, bounce back up. NASDAQ, a little bit of top wick. There you go. Look, they just bought a crap ton of calls, too. Look at this. 500, 600 million worth of calls purchased on that move. 100-point bounce on NASDAQ. Extraordinary. 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 NASDAQ's still going, baby. I think they know we know they know they know we know they know. Silver's like a rodeo. I can barely stay alive for 8 seconds. Silver's a beast. It's an absolute beast. NASDAQ is freaking squeezing now, baby. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Amazing stuff. 150-point bounce on NASDAQ. Silver's like your first hot chick. Oh my gosh. That is crazy. It's a great movie. Great movie. I'll find you. Silver's just absolutely squeezing, baby. Look at that. That is a 3C of 3Cs. Look at that. Look at that. Unbelievable. I front ran along at 569 small size. Beautiful. Nasdaq's coming up. That's a 50% move right there, too. Right there. Can't keep this market down, baby. I just blew a TPT combine. I've been working up and winning trade by accidentally going in with 3 instead of 2 or 3 MNQs. I'm so smart. Interesting. What do you which broker are you using? Tofu. Man, look at that. That is unreal, dude. Absolutely unreal. Just a monster move on silver. Love to see it. What is the benefits of Top Step accounts? There are a few benefits to Top Step. However, if they didn't give me a free account, a free reset, I would not be having a Top Step account right now. There's too many. Like, I like money. I like having control of my own money. And Top Step, their funded rules are pretty great in terms of there's no consistency rule. There's no trailing drawdown. All you have to do is make $150 per day. But there's payout caps. Like in my situation right now, I've made 150 grand, and I can only pull out 5 grand a week. Payout caps, you have to wait 30 days to get at least to hit live and get out some of your money. Not to mention, when you take a payout, now you have to maintain a positive balance to get another payout. And how many traders are going to be able to do that? They could take one payout, and then even only the best are going to be able to continue profitability and take out more payouts. So, in my opinion, I don't really recommend Top Step. There's too many roadblocks. It's very anti-trader. It's unfortunate because they used to be one of the best. Top Step or TPT is still the very best. TPT is still the very best. Silver's going straight up, baby. Nasdaq is holding 672. Yeah, if you want to avoid that, obviously, especially like Quan Tower, where you have custom windows up, I would completely close the Nasdaq chart. Only have the MNQ chart up. So just don't do it, or have a lock on there where you have to put in like a password to open it up, something like that. Because that happens quite a bit to some traders. Silver's just going, baby. Look at that. That's an unbelievable move, baby. Unbelievable 3C move. That is just sexy. Sexy. Still going. There we go. I got to pop in a quick in and out eval trade to clock the fifth day on an eval, just to check the box trade. I think there are multiple chart layout thing. I can't tell right now because I'm only on my phone. Silver 91,655 and going, baby. Right there. Amazing stuff. That's 2 times the Supreme Court has delayed the answer on this. No wonder who's behind the scenes. Yep. Large red on Nasdaq so far. Rolling back over. TPT, TakeProfitTrader. Yes, correct. That the green code at the top of the YouTube screen there. I'm an affiliate of TPT. Highly believe in them. I think they're the best out there by far. There's no restrictions. Daily payouts, take as much money out as you want. No payout caps, no hassle. They don't ask you for proof or nothing, all this other nonsense. As long as you maintain their guidelines, I mean, it's amazing. Silver's top wicking. Gold's bouncing. Of course, NASDAQ is still going. In 8 minutes, I do have to shut the streams down and switch over to Bookmap. So if you're on the stream, 5,000 a week for 30 weeks. Yeah, buddy, it is, Martin, 100%. If you're on the stream, you're going to see this stream end here in a few minutes. You'll see it. You'll get a notification if you're subscribed, of course, for another stream. That'll be the Bookmap stream. So come join, hang out with us there as well. If you're in Discord, you're going to see this stream shut off, and you'll have to go over to Bookmap's Discord to join that stream. And I'll post a link for that as well in the channel. Still going. Silver rocket ships, baby. A crazy 50 fib move. No way. That never happens. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy stuff. I love it. Couple of great 3Cs right there. Just a highlight. Volume, bottom wicks, both on NASDAQ and silver. The highest volume candle of the day on both names. Noted the exact bottom. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Grandma came over a couple of times. Like I'm telling you, dude, it's patience. Good stuff. Grandma's working overtime today. She is. Big red candle. Roblox, one of the craziest stocks. It's crazy. NASDAQ still can't get over the 50% and the prior support resistance. We've got put buying, call, selling here, unable to do anything. A whole bunch of put buying right now. 730 million puts purchased. They're selling off a bunch of calls, so so far the option chain does not look that great. The option chain does not look that great at the moment. NASDAQ is chilling. Entered at 653 on the pullback to break even. Stopped out 3 ticks, one straight. Nice. Didn't take any of those moves. Had a great day yesterday. I'm playing it a bit more calm. Yeah, you and me both. I took a couple of these moves, but you know, I went into today being safer, just taking it easy, enjoying these profits. Man, look at the option chain. This does not look good. Look at this. We're gonna see if this plays out, but I'll be curious to see how they're gonna absorb this day, because if you go back and look at the chart, every single day the past couple weeks, they are just squeezing the market up and up and up, and the markets can't maintain it. They keep selling it off, but we keep having these aggressive, prolonged trends. And I'm curious if they're going to do that again. Right now, the option chain does not look good. They are selling the crap. They just sold $1 billion worth of calls, and they bought back about 400 million worth of puts. I mean, it's interesting. I'm not seeing a whole bunch of call buying to put this right back up to highs. ES is 69.60 after rejecting the 50. Of course, we have this little shindig too that I'm sure y'all see, especially Kennedy. This little guy. Not a trendline trader myself, but there you go. Bitcoin's at 97. Nice. All right. I have to shut the stream off. So, if you're not already, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll see, if you do that, you'll get a notification for the next stream. It'll come up here in about 60 seconds or so. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be back here in about 30 seconds. I'm out.